Now, another long-standing abrogation of Congress's constitutional responsibilities is the delegation of its monetary responsibilities to a globalist system of central banks, which results in a loss of a constitutional and honest monetary system. This is another congressional breach of Article 1, Section 8. This time it regards the establishment and maintenance of a central banking within a world system of central banking, the indispensable ingredient for creating world government. Congress has no authority to delegate an exclusive monetary system authority to a third party, and that is exactly, though, what happens when a central bank like the Federal Reserve is formed. This accounts for at least the financial dilemma, the financial aspect of the dilemma that we face. The existence of central banks like the Federal Reserve allows for the printing of money necessary to fund the globalist movement while accounting for its creation as debt owing from us. The monetary system is designed to cause a financial collapse, which allows the opportunity to further consolidate and strengthen globalist power. America will need a new monetary system. But today we must simply understand this issue if we are to avoid becoming trapped in an arranged future that has little regard for human life. The collapse of the monetary system appears to be in process now. Let's observe two facts. One, a pattern begins to take form. The federal government has become an outpost of globalist authority. Now the real muscle is being applied where it counts, and that is in your community. Now we have a place, though, where we can effectively fight and defeat the grandest assault on liberty where it matters most, and that is in your hometown. As government prohibits resource extraction on much of the American landscape, America has become dependent on other countries for almost everything. This causes the interdependency that our children are told is designed to naturally lead to world government. But let us set our sights. We need to recover our ability to use our resources. And to achieve this, we need to cause federal lands to become state property or private property. We need an American-centered trade policy, and we must abolish the current fiat monetary system. The American people's goal must be to recapture the federal government. But how do we do that? Not easily. To get there, the battle that we can and must win is the local battle. Win back your town, neighborhood, and county from Agenda 21 policies, then move into a broader area. Ultimately, we need to combine with others working similarly around our state. Then kick sustainable development policy out of California's law and out of our bureaucracy. When enough states have recaptured their citizens' liberty, the federal government can be taken on effectively. Then we will have salvaged the American experiment in individual liberty and equal justice, including the political recognition of every individual's unalienable rights. Long live the United States. Now, as Congress conjures up what they call a living constitution, the pros in Washington, D.C. are selling out America. We don't have all that much time. Remember when American youth, many of us were, taught that it was a good thing that power was not centralized and coordinated? Oh, I wish it were still that way. It needs to become that way. We need to restore the American Republic, not a 15th century landscape. We need to expose sustainable development. We're going to take a very short break. And when we return, I'm going to talk about the local implementation of sustainable development here in Amador and surrounding counties.
Michael Shaw once again.
Well, let's work on attacking the root of the problem. We individually need to begin to recognize the local and broader patterns and tenets of Agenda 21. This way you can fight back and win. You can work with insight, starting where the attack is all around you, where it's happening, and where it is that you can win. And that is at the local level. Now, the globalist invasion is happening right under our noses. Every county in America has its local Agenda 21 implementation program underway. Let's examine aspects of the local action plan. How many people in the audience have heard of ICLEI? Okay, ICLEI, how many have heard of the organization ICLEI? Okay, that is as high a percentage as I've seen, and yet it's maybe not as high as I expected in this community, because this community is a headliner. We're going to examine ICLEI, which is what I call the most vulnerable globalist organization operating in America today. Now, ICLEI is the International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives. It has its headquarters based on every continent around the world. It is a UN-accredited NGO. Now, in its own words, ICLEI is the International Environmental Agency for Local Governments. You have a United Nations NGO operating when ICLEI comes into your town in control of environmental issues. Everything is an environmental issue if you want it to be. ICLEI's mission is to build and serve a worldwide movement of local governments to achieve tangible improvements in global environmental and sustainable development conditions through cumulative local action. Well, that's that 276 policies in the new general plan for Amador County. And those are the cumulative local actions. The full name of ICLEI is the International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives. It is also called Local Governments for Sustainability. ICLEI is an important NGO that closely ties policy to man-made global warming and climate change. ICLEI has formed an international Congress filled with city and county representatives from America and other countries around the world. This Congress is acting as a shadow world government. And your county was sending its representatives to this. ICLEI directs community planning departments and other local agencies and provides statutory and regulatory provisions that implement sustainable policy locally. Local tax funds pay the contract fee. Agenda 21 policymaking is fully embedded upon ICLEI's arrival. At least 600 cities, including Bloomberg-led New York City, from all across the nation have ICLEI contracts. And yet, of those 600 cities, 110 are in Central California. You see, local governments have been hijacked by world government agents. Each ICLEI's city's influence is expanded as then ICLEI automatically steers the regional governance apparatus that's already existing in the United States, the regional air boards, the regional transportation boards, the regional water boards, and many other regional transformational governmental apparatus are directed by the closest ICLEI to those regions. Now, Article 1, Section 10 of the U.S. Constitution makes the following prohibition. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, unquote, with a foreign political entity. Neither may a city. So we've got to ask, is it treasonous for city leaders to contract with ICLEI, an international NGO and UN-related organization? ICLEI contracts are treasonous. Now here are the 110 cities in Central California. I'm sure you can't read them. This is from ICLEI's own listing. Amador County is still listed. But the good news for those of you who've been involved in this, you know that Amador County did not renew its membership this year. We need to understand, though, because I'll come back to this point, that contracts with ICLEI guarantee implementation of international political and economic policy at the local level. The fact that Amador County has kicked ICLEI out is great news, but until your local government has reviewed its regulatory and statutory provisions as they exist today, you will not have cleaned this county of ICLEI influence. You need to rehash county statutes and county regulations so that the policy that reflects of the ICLEI attack on this community is whitewashed. For citizens of Amador, that means understanding the operational relationship between ICLEI, county planning, and county administrative departments, and the ties ICLEI has to regional governance apparatus such as the Sierra Nevada Conservancy. The battle against ICLEI is brewing. Citizens have started the process, but there's more to do. We are following the Kick ICLEI Out campaign at freedomadvocates.org. Other counties around the country are engaged in the same battle that you folks have been engaged in, and the wins are beginning to stack up. Now, in 2004, Governor Schwarzenegger created the Sierra Nevada Conservancy. The Sierra Nevada Conservancy will lead a collaborative effort. I thought only comrades used the term collaborative. From local, state, and federal partners to restore and protect California's largest and most important watershed. Well, the sweet-sounding language is persistent. They wouldn't have a website if it didn't sound sweet and beneficial. But how are they going to do that? How are all these federal agencies going to combine to restore the watershed? Now, the watershed, this watershed they're talking about, is roughly half the land of the state of California. The Conservancy's objective is to control all land uses within that land mass. Now, what we find at Sierra Nevada Conservancy are public-private partners pursuing their economic promotion and control, excused by the advance of so-called green or social policies. Now, Sierra Nevada Conservancy is bipartisan. Their vision statement calls for those 3 E's that we've talked about: environmental, economic, and social, meaning equity, social equity. The mission is the same thing. Their vision and their mission is the same thing: to bring about sustainable development, always clad in these vague terms. The Sierra Nevada Conservancy constitutes 22 counties. It is regionalism at its ultimate level. This new super region lures and sometimes competes against the authority of local governments. That's the purpose of the Sierra Nevada Conservancy.